Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hope you're all keeping safe at the minute. In today's video, we're back out again on a walk trying to catch a cinematic video. If you're interested in any kind of recording video or photography, droning, that kind of thing, then you're in the right place. Today we're freestyling it again. We're out in the English fog, hopefully trying to catch something decent, and you're coming along for the ride, and we hopefully, well, I hopefully can give you some tips and tricks on how to improve your videos too. So let's carry on. Okay, the temperature is about -3 today, and there is a lot of fog about. There isn't much frost, surprisingly, but the floor is quite crunchy, and you'll be glad to hear that I've got some new shoes, so I should be able to keep dry feet today. So we've come across our first shot of the day. It's this tree here in the fog. We've got the camera all set up. Now it's not moving much, so it is going to look like a little bit of a photo, but I'll run you through all the settings and how to dial it in and get perfect focus. So let's have a look. So we've got it set up so it's centered in our shot at the moment. Now we know we need our shutter speed at double our recording frame rate. If you've not seen my video on how to get manual settings, I'll link it above up here. But we're slightly overexposed here on the meter reading. Hopefully you can see that it says +1. So let's get our settings dialed in first. Now, because there isn't much background, we can just raise this up. I'm going to leave my ISO at 160. It ain't going to make that much of a difference from 100. Okay, so we've dialed in the settings there. We're still a little bit bright, so I'm going to go a little bit higher on the aperture. And now I'm going to show you how I focus sometimes. Now, because it's quite foggy, we may miss focus here. So a good way of doing it is switch the camera into autofocus mode, let it find the subject, and then we can switch back to manual focus and just dial it in, just double checking them settings. Hold on just 1 second, I'm just going to pause the video just to explain what that red tint is on the display. What this is I've turned on focus peak and assist. It's a feature on most modern cameras, and what it does, it highlights the high contrast areas in our image, and thus what most likely is in focus. Now, as we progress through the video, keep a lookout for where this red highlight is showing the most, because this is a good indication of what is in focus. Anyway, back to the video. And that's how you can do a little bit of a cheat way. Instead of using manual focus to try, if you're struggling with manual focus, hit autofocus, let the camera decide for you, and then switch back to manual focus. And here is that video shot. And because it was so foggy, I couldn't get manual focus correctly on it. So what I've done, I switched to auto mode on the camera, let it decide for me, and then switch back to manual focus, and then use the focus peak and assist just to double check that it was in focus. So as you can see, it's very sharp. Notice to the top left corner there are 2 sensor spots there. Let me just get rid of them in post so you can see it properly. Because there isn't much movement in this shot, it's not a very good cinematic shot, but it'd make for a great photo. I would definitely hang this on my living room wall. Anyway, let's keep on walking and see what else we can find. Okay, I'm just going to give you a run through on how I dial in my settings on the camera here. I found this nice looking path. I may even send a drone down in a minute through the trees, depending. I'm just looking at them overhanging branches there. Might be a little bit too risky. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to run you through how we set up our manual settings for this scene. Now, because at the minute I'm recording at 24 frames per second, I've set my shutter speed to 50, double our recording frame rate. We're very dark though at the minute. So I'm going to lower our aperture a bit to about 4.5, and then just raise the ISO till we get down to 0. Now we're probably still in continuous focus mode, so I'm just going to switch that to manual focus mode as well, so it doesn't constantly hunt for focus. And there we go, we've got it set up nicely now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hit record, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk down the path and be in this particular shot. So let's crack on and have a look at this. At the time I thought this was a half decent shot, but I really don't like the foliage on the floor or the broken trees in the top left side. So this particular clip will almost certainly end up in the recycle bin. Okay, we've just come across this lovely scene here. We're going to walk again through the shot. What I'm going to do is run through the settings and how to dial them in again. This way you're going to get a good understanding of how I do it, and you can go out in the field and try it yourself. So at the minute we're really too dark. Now I could just raise the ISO and that is going to help. And we're back to naught. Or I could, if I just lower that ISO back down again, lower my aperture. But because I want the scene to be in focus quite far back, I'm going to raise the aperture and raise my ISO. Now, depending on what camera you have or you're using, you have to be careful with ISO that we don't start introducing digital noise into our image. So we've dialed it in nicely. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to struggle here to find focus with all the fog. So I'm going to switch over to continuous focus mode on the camera. I'm going to let the camera decide what is best for me. I'm then going to swap it back to manual focus. And as you can see, we've got all these red lines now showing that these are the areas that are in focus. I could zoom in and have a check, but it's so hard with the fog that I am going to trust the camera in this instance. And yeah, we're going to walk through the scene now and have a look, see how it comes out. And this shot I much prefer to the previous one. The foliage is nice, the trees are nice, the symmetry, and by me walking through the shot gives it a sense of scale. Notice as well what's in focus. We got a very nice, clean, sharp image here. As you've probably seen with most of my cinematic, I love being in forests. Something about them, especially when it's slightly foggy, that I absolutely love. Just check this out behind us. There's no one around for miles. We're on our own in the middle of a forest and I can't think of anything better. Let's carry on recording. So one of the things I really like to do is get down low and get a low profile shot. I've just come across this log that's got a bit of, what do you call that green stuff on it, moss. And what I'm going to do, I've set my focus up. So we're focusing on that moss and the twigs at the front. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk along in the background of the shot. And then I'm going to be out of focus, but it adds that movement and scale to the shot that we require. So let's have a look how this comes out. By me walking in the background out of focus, it just adds a little bit of intrigue into the shot. Okay, I've just got the drone out. I've seen a nice little way we can send the drone down. So I've got it on the floor all set up. We're going to send a drone down nice and slow in tripod mode, just to get a bit of a movement shot through the trees. Okay, this drone is the Dji MAVIC AIR 2. I'm in tripod mode, obstacle avoidance is off, and we got the return to home settings set to hover just in case we lose signal here. All I'm doing is pressing forward nice and slow on the stick. If you've not seen my video on how to fly drones in forests, I'll link that in the description and up above in the corner. And here's the footage straight from the drone, so I'll just be quiet a minute and let you watch it. So we've done a little bit of drone flying there. I didn't do much. Unfortunately, it's so foggy around the corner there. I weren't willing to risk losing visual line of sight with a drone, and it's illegal to do that, so worth noting. Anyway, hope that shot turned out all right. Let's crack on and see what else we can find. What I'm going to do now is just put them last 3 clips together into a small little sequence, just so you can see how we're starting to build this cinematic video. I'll let you watch it and I'll be quiet again. Okay, so I'm just heading off now back to the area that I filmed 2 weeks ago, where I got the sun rays coming through the trees. Now, if you've not seen that one, check it out up here. I'll link it up there. I don't think we're going to get the sun rays through the trees this week. I think the fog is too dense, but we'll go check it out. It's about an hour's walk, so we'll see what's there when we get there. So I've made it to that location. Here it is this week. Now, we're not getting the sun rays through the trees this week, unfortunately, which was stunning last week. So if you've not checked out that video, be sure you do, because that one is amazing. It's a different feeling now. It's a bit eerie, a bit dark almost. Still stunning though. So I'm just gonna set up for a bit and just see if the conditions change or if I can spot a shot. So let's crack on. Okay, in that previous location, unfortunately the sun, it wasn't doing it for me. The sun weren't coming through, but I found this location. I've got the camera set up now to do a time lapse. Have a look at this. So the time lapse didn't go as planned, but I did record this. If only I'd walked across that ridge line in the background there, then this would have been a 10 out of 10, but still stunning. My best clip of the day. Well, that's going to finish up this episode for today. I hope you enjoyed that. We went on ended up being about an 8-mile walk in truth. Hopefully you got something from it with some tips there on how to focus. I think that's where it kind of like led to, didn't it? But check out next week's video where we release the cinematic of what we've recorded today. And if you've enjoyed it, give it a like. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure you type them below, because I do read every comment that you type. But tune in again. We'll be out in a couple of weeks' time doing another walk, giving you more tips and tricks. But thank you so much for watching, and look after yourself, guys. Thank you. I've noticed there's always a hill last thing on the walk. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.